Hey everyone, I like to preface this interview by saying that the first few seconds of the audio is a little bit wonky and a little bit janky from my end, but it gets better over time, so please bear with it if you can. On top of that, I like to thank Shi Qi for coming onto the podcast and carrying the conversation when I couldn't. It was a really hard one for me to do, simply because it was the first one, and with every first anything, it's not going to be great. But she made it amazing. So without further ado, guys, please welcome Ting Shi Qi from But Honestly and enjoy this episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Life Ain't Bad podcast. Today is a very special day because today we have our very first guest coming onto the podcast. She is a proud co-owner / co-founder of a new card game that's coming up that aims to facilitate meaningful conversations, honesty, and vulnerability. Shi Qi, thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, behind the camera, we were panicking. Not really, I was panicking. But before we do anything, like how we like to start the podcast, we like to ask the first question of the day, which always remains the same. How are you?
Wow. I feel like like, how am I really, right? You want to know, like, for real, right?
Well, you can. I mean, you can always dodge the question.
That would be, like, against everything that I say for my whole brand,
It's against the rules. It's against the rules.
How am I? I think I'm very excited to be here. That's first. I think the past few weeks has been pretty stressful for me, like in terms of like getting the card game ready. Like my Kickstarter just ended, so I had to go through like meeting with printers, getting production done, making sure everything's on time. So that's been pretty stressful. But I had a 1 week break off recently, so that was pretty chill. I got to like hang out with friends and rest. So it's a mixture of like rest and stress together. That's how I've been.
We're stressed. You're getting restressed. Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. Yeah. Not only that, because your Kickstarter just ended and you doubled the amount that you were expecting. Yeah. Was that something that you expected to happen, or was there an expectation whereby it probably won't even hit 5? Because to me, the concept is amazing. Was it something that you thought you aim low and see where it goes, or was 5,000 the Kickstarter value that you were expecting?
I think for us at first, we thought 5,000 was like high. I think we didn't expect the response that we got. We're a small startup. Like, we didn't think that people would respond to it. When we launched the Kickstarter, just before we launched, I think we had like, I don't know, 700, 800 followers. You don't think that it would blow up, but the response we got was so insane, and we're so lucky that we doubled up, what we aimed to raise. So I'm very lucky, and definitely beyond our expectations.
I guess it goes to show that people actually genuinely want to talk to people.
Yeah.
But they can't. So I understand there's a resemblance between We're Not Really Strangers.
Correct.
Right. But this card game is more catered towards Malaysians, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Would you say that it can cater towards other communities as well, and not just targeting a certain demographic that we like Southeast Asians? We don't speak about our emotions very well. Would you say that just because it's from Malaysians, made by Malaysians, it would not cross the other seas, or?
Yeah. So I think when we initially created the product, it was like Malaysians in mind. But then as we like edited it and as we put it on Kickstarter, because our audience is worldwide, so we ship worldwide and we have like backers from all over the world. So we changed a lot of the questions to make sure that it fits everyone. But the goal is like we have questions that are very specifically about the Asian experience, like family or traditions, which I think games like We're Not Really Strangers don't really touch on, because that's not as a prevalent, topic or concept or a thing that they go through. So that's how we are different. And the gameplay is also slightly different. So yeah.
So it takes a little bit of strategy to play this game. You got to find little ways to dodge the question a little bit.
As in like, okay, first of all, like We're Not Really Strangers, right? It's all like questions. For us, we have questions and actions. And so I think the action cards are what make us stand out. So a lot of like, it's like truth or dare, but all the dares are wholesome. So no like unwholesome dares. It's always like something edifying or encouraging, or like something that pushes vulnerability.
Yeah. That's definitely different than all the dares that you were asked to do when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm done getting slapped. I'm done.
Right.
I'm done having to kiss somebody that I don't want to kiss.
No, yeah, that's not the vibe we're going for.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're interested, we are going to be playing this game towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that if you're interested, and don't forget to pick up the card whenever it becomes available. If I'm not wrong, you're shipping out the cards towards the backers in January.
Yeah, so the current timeline is that I want to hope to be able to do it in December so that everyone can have it around like by January. Ideally before Christmas is what I'm trying to aim for. I'm trying to rush my printers to do that because like holiday season is when you want to play with your friends.
True.
But because the Kickstarter has ended, so right now if you want to pre-order or you want to order, you have to do it in January when we launch our online store.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Online store incoming. Okay, that's brilliant. So now, because we know a little bit about the card game already, because I like to ask you, in terms of the inspiration of where the card game comes from, what sparked the interest for you to create such a concept for the Malaysian experience towards not just Malaysians, but everyone else around the world who decides that they have understood that they don't come from a background that allows them vulnerability, allows them honesty in conversations. So what was that spark that made you decide, okay, we got to do this. I got to do this.
I think I really crave and value vulnerable conversations. And I feel like a lot of the times we don't have them because there's no like space for them. Or like someone has to start, right? You have to ask the right question or someone has to open up before that environment is created. Even with like a friend that you like trust and know for long. So I think the card game is just like an intentional way. Like when I pull out the card game, everyone's like, okay, we are ready to open up. And it's like, it asks the right questions. So I've played it with friends that I've known forever, right? And I found out things that I never knew about them. So I think it's that hard to create that environment that I really cherish. And I wanted to be able to like have that more with different groups of friends. And I feel like in Malaysia, I guess it's an Asian thing, right? We don't really open up. We don't really share. So I was hoping that this product can help people who struggle with that to create that safe space.
I agree with that. I still find that I don't know anything about my friends. I've known them for 10 years. I still have nothing about them except their first name. Literally. So in terms of friends, you discover more and more things about them that they wouldn't otherwise open up to you. Would you say that, I understand opening up to friends would be a lot easier compared to opening up to family?
Yeah.
So when it comes, on your Instagram, on Brett Honestly's Instagram as well, you also played the card game with your parents.
Yeah.
And I can imagine, for me, speaking to my parents in that way, it's no go.
Right.
It's a no-go zone, no matter what. No fly zone, no drive zone, everywhere. I'm not even allowed to look at them when I'm supposed to talk about my emotions, right?
Yeah.
How has your upbringing allowed you to become this person that you are today in terms of vulnerability, in terms of the openness that you share with your parents?
Yeah. So I'm actually not very open with my parents. So just like, if you look at but honestly, Instagram, it seems like I am very close to them. But growing up, I felt like I couldn't go to them with a lot of my emotional problems. And I learned about the value of vulnerability in church. So I grew up in church. And like in youth group, we were always encouraged to share. And it was like a safe space for me. Like when I shared, people would like care for me, check in on me. And I felt that when I opened up, it brought healing. Like it's one thing, right? When you talk it out, you feel better. And second, like people care for you. And like you don't feel so alone. So I learned about the value of that there. And then as I grew older, I found that my parents were actually very open to talk about things. But I guess, I was young and like, when you're young and you tell your parents things, they just nag you or they just like scold you, right? But now that I'm an adult, I think the approach that they have towards me is different. So I'm very happy that my parents are like, I think they are actually the ones putting in the effort trying to like talk about things with me. Because I'm just like not used to it. It's like so awkward. All my life, I've never done that, So yeah, with family, I am trying to be like definitely more intentional, like trying to open up because it's super awkward for me. And so that is also one of the motivating factors behind why I wanted to create this card game. I really want to create a family deck because I want to be able to talk about things with my parents. And I know that the concept is great, right? And I think people will appreciate it. But me, myself, when I think about playing it with my parents, I'm like terrified. But like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But I want to, because I think that would really make our relationship so much better. I want to understand them, more lah.
Brilliantly put.
Yeah.
I think from my personal experience, opening up to my parents was a no-go because I grew up in an environment whereby you have to be a man. You got to man up.
Yeah.
Regardless, you got to man up. Even despite how emotional I am and despite me starting a podcast like this, it's kind of, it's a juxtaposition, right? It's like I crave a certain connection to be able to be vulnerable towards my parents, towards my friends. And so instead of reaching out to them and being more emotional towards them, I try to reach out to other people instead.
Yeah.
So it's like there's an inherent need for me to become vulnerable. And that's why I feel like this card game, but honestly, it's such a beautiful thing. Because not only does it help people who don't know that they need help, but it helps people who know and grants them an impetus to just go out and go and look for it. So that's why I just find it so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so inspiring about what you and Davin and Sarah, which is what three of you are doing. Of course, the team as well, which is absolutely remarkable. Super commendable. Love it.
Thank you.
Besides, but honestly, you are a very open person. You're extremely conversational. And one thing that we spoke about when we hit each other's DMs, right? DMs are not just for dating anymore. You can have business opportunities on there. You can talk to friends in your DMs. It's okay. It's not taboo anymore.
Yeah.
So when I hit you up in the DMs, I don't know who hit each other up first, but like, it was mutual. It was mutual. It was great. Yeah. Okay. You spoke about an emotional struggle that you had to deal with and are still currently dealing with. And I feel like that emotional struggle is really important to everybody that's listening, especially to listeners in this demographic.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about what the emotional struggle is? And maybe you could tell us where it stems from.
Yeah. I think I was dealing a lot. Like all my life, I was very afraid of failing because I think when I was younger, it's not so bad to say, but I had it very easy, you know. Like I was always doing well in school. I was like top in class. I was always involved. I was always like, I didn't have to put in a lot of extra like hard effort to have things go my way when I was younger. And then when I went to uni, it wasn't like that. I was like a small fish in a big pond, you know. And like it really hurt it really hurt my self-esteem. Like I didn't know who I was. And then like I wasn't doing so well in other, you know, in some ways. And so to me, I was afraid of failing because I tied success to my self-worth. If I wasn't successful, then I wasn't worthy. You know, and it was, I think now still, like, I'm trying very hard to, like, not, like remembering that it's not the same. Like, my worth is inherent, you know, it's not defined by my successes. And so I had a lot of fear of, like, starting my own thing. I've always wanted to start my own podcast, right? I tell you this. And I didn't do it because I was, like, so afraid, like, oh, what if it fails? Like, what if it's, like, lame and no one wants to listen to it? What if, like, I want to be vulnerable and people judge me because of that? Or I've always wanted to like start a YouTube channel, you know?
Yeah.
Because I love like creating and talking and stuff like that. But what if people think I'm so cringy? Or there's a lot of like fear of like that judgment and failure, you know? Because that's tied to my self-worth. So it took me a long time before I could start something. And so when I started, but honestly, I think a lot of that fear like crept in at the start. But I'm so grateful that I did it with a team. So it wasn't like me, myself, and I, right? So I had people to like encourage me. My team has been like so supportive, like Sarah and Devin. They're just like such great people to work with. Yeah, like I really love them. Like it's so rare that you can work with your friends and create something together and like not fight and like, you know, do it well. Like I was terrified of that too. But yeah, as I'm growing older, I'm learning that I cannot let my successes define me. I cannot let what other people think of me define me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a journey. I'm still learning.
It has been a journey.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you talk about the fear of failure, obviously a lot of people experience that. It stops you from, it freezes you in place before you can even begin to start. You don't even take the first step and you're already stuck.
Correct.
So I find it remarkable because you mentioned back in our DMs, that you starting up your own company allowed you to break out of that fear. It was a sign for you to break out of your fear. Would you be able to recall what drove you to look at your fear and decide, you know what? It's holding me back. I don't need this. I can start my own company. Because you tied your fear of failure to the amount of success that you have. Because if you fail, that means you can't be successful. If you're not successful, then there's no point of doing anything.
Yeah.
And that's what freezes you in place. So what broke you out of that shell of believing like, it doesn't matter if I fail. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. I don't think it was a big like light bulb moment. And it wasn't that I had to like overcome like a huge like, okay, like, oh my God, I'm going to start a company kind of feeling. I think as I grew older, I realized that like so many successful people fail first, and that's like a learning process. And so I learned to be like more, kinder to myself and be like, failure is actually something that I really value now in terms of like my business. If I fail, that's okay. Like I learned something and I can always start something new. So I'm glad that I'm young and I'm able to, I have the luxury to fail, which I think is a privilege. And so I think that mindset shift helped me to step out of my comfort zone and create something that I was passionate about.
I really liked what you talked about in terms of privilege and the privilege to fail, to not achieve the successes, and that's okay. But I think one thing that we always forget to do is redefine our success. We always forget that success is tangible. We always forget that success is not the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Even if you have the privilege to be able to fail, would you say that being able to redefine what success is to you would propel you to be able to do what you want to do? And has redefining success ever helped you in a way?
Yeah, like you mean redefining the definition of what success means to me, right?
Yeah.
I think because of my environment, and maybe because of our friend group, right? I've always, and also because of like my Asian parents, success has always been tied to wealth or status. Like if you're successful, when you describe someone, oh, he's so successful, you just think, okay, he's financially stable, he has his shit together, right? That's like, okay, that's
Amen.
a successful person. I'm learning that, and I think I know deep down, like success to me means contentment. And so being content with where I'm at in life. So there's no like figure, there's no like, okay, I have to make like X amount of money to be successful. It's more like, what can I do till I'm content? And the scary thing is when there's no like set goal, I'm like never content. I'm just like, oh my God, I never see myself as successful. I was just having this conversation with someone like last night, right? Like of how I just feel like I'm not there yet. I'm like never there, and I'm never good enough. I'm never like successful enough. And it's very crippling. I think that mindset, and it robs me so much of like joy, and it robs me of like appreciating where I'm at in life. So yeah, it's definitely like very openly and vulnerably, I'm just telling you this is something that I'm really struggling with. But I'm learning that like, I cannot view myself or like success like that. Yeah.
It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You want to be successful, but it's a constant battle of determining what success is. Because if I were to speak from my personal experience, I never knew what success was. Because I grew up, well, I knew what success was.
Yeah.
But it was this fixed ideology whereby if you don't get A's, you're not successful.
Right.
And it's just a generic scenario for Southeast Asians, or just, I don't know how it's like in the States. And I imagine it's a little bit different in the States because you did study in the States for university.
Yeah.
So in terms of, just for me, growing up, success was get A's, become head prefect, be
Actually,
good.
Were you head prefect?
I was a prefect.
Okay.
But I quit.
Okay.
I quit because it wasn't my style.
Oh,
I decided
mess with your vibe.
My vibe was off. Well,
you want to like untuck your shirt and stuff like that.
I demerit myself for fun.
Oh, okay.
I gave myself demerit for fun.
That's so funny. Okay.
Yeah, but I walked up to the headmistress. I'm like, I'm done.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I didn't do it that dramatically,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just, I don't want to be a prefect anymore.
Yeah.
It's killing my vibe. Okay.
You didn't say that, but
Oh, I did. Anyways.
you said that.
No, that.
Oh my God. I was like, wow.
No, I just told her I'm done with this. I don't want
Yeah.
to stand in the stairwell and hang out for like half an hour and eat my bread there. No, that's not the way.
That was me all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like to me, that was success, right?
Right.
You gotta be good at violin. You got to be good at math. You got to be a star athlete. And that's what success was. And everybody was on the same trajectory.
Correct.
Everybody was expected to do the same thing. So now after we leave university, after we enter the workforce and things like that, there's nobody to tell you like you're doing a bad job or you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
In fact, everyone tells you you're doing a bad job more than you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Speaking of personal experience, right?
Right.
So in that sense, would you say the rigidity of what success was defined for us back in the day, did it affect you and the way you view your fear of failure?
Yeah, definitely. I think because my self-worth was tied to success, right? I think I'm inherently a people pleaser. Like, I want to make my parents happy. I want to make the people around me happy, and I want them to see me in the light that is positive. And so I think maybe I was like conditioned since young, like, oh, like you did good, you did well in exams, like great job, or like, oh, you're like such a leader, or like, you know. And so I learned, I was programmed, okay, this is what is good, and like bad grades, that's what's bad, right? That doesn't give me the praise that I desire. And so in like efforts to get that recognition or praise or validation, I like told myself, okay, I have to do ABC. I have to like have good grades. I have to do well in school. I have to like be, you know, in all these like organizations. Like when I was a head prefect, right, I like felt like, oh, I felt so happy, you know, like, oh, I accomplished something. And like people would like see me in a different way, and like they would think that, you know, I don't know, I have it all together, you know, I'm like smart, and like I just wanted people to give me that validation. Yeah, and so when I went to uni, right, and I didn't have all that, I felt like I was like falling apart. I was like, oh my god, like who am I? Like I don't have that validation anymore. I don't have that acknowledgement anymore. I don't have those things that feel me and told me who I was. And so my self-worth was so defined to that. Yeah, and it was because of how it was brought up. I don't blame it, but it's just a culture that we're in that like told us that that was success. And it's not, right? So I'm really learning that as long as I'm content, as long as I'm happy with what I'm doing,
right?
And like I shouldn't really, I mean, like, okay, it's so small, right? But even like Instagram, right? Like when I'm posting pictures, I want to post like the pictures that I think people will like, right? So I'm like trying so hard right now to just like not care and like post whatever I want. I just want to do whatever I want. I don't want to like seek for validation that way anymore, you know? And so I'm slowly like learning to not. Yeah.
Are you me? Are you me?
Oh my
Are
God.
you literally me?
Do you know what the Enneagram is?
The Enneagram?
Enneagram, have you heard of that?
No, I've not.
It's like a personality test.
Okay.
Like it's like there's a number from 1 to 9. I think you should take it. I think you would really like it.
Am I gonna freak out?
Maybe because they're like, oh my god, this is like really like describes me. So yeah, maybe you should. Maybe we're the same personality type.
We're
there.
neurotic. Are we
Yeah.
neurotic?
I don't know.
I think I'm very neurotic.
Yeah.
I panic whenever I have to upload things on Instagram.
Yeah.
I panic. I'm just like, oh my god, my left eye looks wonky today.
Okay, yeah. I used to be like that, but now I really don't care. Like, I'm glad. Like no one really knows about this progress that I'm making, right? But internally, it's like I just post whatever I want. Like I used to think about captions for so long. Like I would take like half an hour just to pick the right caption. Now I don't care. I just like post whatever the heck I want. And I feel more liberated. You know, I can do whatever I want and not seek that approval so much.
Wow. I mean, I'm still in the caption phase. I'm still trying to find the right caption, the right emojis, okay?
Yeah.
Posting my face up was one thing. Now I have to put on the emojis and stuff like that. Panic. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So like so now you say that you don't care. I'm just gonna post whatever I want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's on the internet anymore. My face has been there on there for years.
Yeah.
You see me when my face was literally like that, like that small, right?
Yeah.
So what mindset change did you have, and what did you do? I think one thing that people just want to know is like, what do you do personally to be able to overcome that kind of fear,
Yeah.
that kind of need for validation? How do you get over that?
I think the first was like I realized it was so toxic and like bad for my mental health because I would look at there's so many pretty girls, right? I would look at all these pretty girls on Instagram and be like, I wish I looked like them. You're like, don't you know? Yeah, I wish I looked like them. I wish like my face was more like them, my body was more like them. And so what I used to do is I would edit my pictures a lot. Like I would like make my eyes bigger, or like, you know, if like my eyes not even right I would like make the other one bigger so it looked like more even.
I get it.
And yeah, I used to like really edit my pictures because I wanted to look a certain way, or like the best version of myself, or the Photoshop version of myself. And then I think I always hear that people say you look better in your pictures than in real life, or like your pictures, like you don't look like your pictures sometimes. I mean, I guess fair, because like I did edit my pictures, and so I realized that it was so toxic for me, because I felt like, oh, that I'm not so pretty, like, oh, people think I feel like the need to look like my Instagram pictures in real life, and I realized that I didn't really. I didn't heavily edit my pictures that, but personally I felt like, okay, there were some things that, I would remove pimples and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was just like this mindset of like, okay, like this is bad for me. I shouldn't keep comparing myself. I cannot like chase after this ideal of myself. It's not realistic. And so I slowly started to post pictures that I wouldn't edit. And I realized like no one really cared. No one really like, a picture. Okay, so how do I put this? I would post a picture, right, that I think that I need to edit. Okay, now I'm like, I tell myself like, okay, I shouldn't edit it. I just post it up, and it feels fine. Like my friends still like comment on it. Like it's still like no one actually views me the way that I view myself. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like
of
I'm
course.
all over the place right now.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I think in the sense that we're so afraid of fitting in.
Yeah.
To the point that we decide that no matter what we pump out is never going to be good enough. Because all that we see on Instagram, all that we see on Facebook. Do you even use Facebook anymore? I don't use Facebook
Not so
anymore.
much.
No, I don't use Facebook. Facebook for the crazies. Yeah. Crazy people on Facebook. On social media like Instagram, all you see is perfection.
Right.
Nobody's imperfect on it.
Right.
And even if someone is imperfect in the eyes of the normal ideas of society, they're so confident. And you question them, like, how are you so confident?
Yeah.
And how do you just don't care?
Yeah.
To the point that no matter what you pump out, you can either never be pretty enough, or you can never be confident enough. So I feel, just from my personal sense, is that I find it really hard to just post up stories. Not even posts. Posts are for special occasions.
Right.
After I've sieved through thousands of photos on Instagram, after I've sieved through all these things, and only then are they deemed worthy to be on there. And most of the time when I put it on, it's like, it's not even for me. I'm thinking about if other people would like it.
Yeah. Correct.
And that's just the fear of not fitting in. I just want to be validated in a sense. And that transposed over into relationships as well. And I never realized that. So like when I was in previous relationships, long-term ones, and throughout those relationships, I battled trying to gain validation from the other person rather than trying to offer validation.
Ooh.
It came to the point that was this very heavy discrepancy in terms of how much I give and how much I take. So in that sense, I was afraid that they wouldn't view me the way I wanted them to view me. So, and I feel like that though there's a relationship between the two. And in that sense, have you felt any fear in terms of relationships?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt as if you needed to please somebody so badly to the point it jeopardized the way you felt? Besides parents, besides friends and stuff like that, like personal relationships.
Yeah, all the time. Dang, like that just hits so close to home. I feel like I just want to please the person so much that even if I'm like uncomfortable or I want to say no, or like I don't want to, let's say, like see them anymore, or like maybe I cannot bring myself to say it because I don't want to be like hurt. I don't want to hurt them. Like I don't mind. It sounds very like savior complex, right? When I say I don't mind being the one that's hurt. Right? You like get me, right?
Yeah,
but
I
it's
get
just
you.
that it's actually very selfish that when I think about it. It's just I don't want to be viewed as a bad person. So I want to do anything I can to please the other person. And like as long as they're happy, that validates me. Because like I'm a good person. Like they like me, and I have always been so worried about them liking me more than if I like them. And at the end of the day, I realized, wait, I don't actually like them that much. But like as long as they like me, it validates and feels something in me. Just like not the way you should be dating, right? So yeah, I'm like acknowledging that and learning that, and I really feel that I'm learning to be okay with like dates or like seeing people and it not working out. And it like you can think that the person's great and it's just not for you, and that's okay. Like I am so terrified of that moment of like saying, okay, like this is not for me, like because I feel like that makes them think that I'm a bad person. That desire to be viewed a certain way. I think is not healthy. Yeah, I struggle with that too. So yeah, you and me both.
I don't even think it's just the both of us. I think it's literally
Yeah.
the whole millennial generation. We're all
Yeah.
struggling. So in that, I think that one hit close to home to me, because like you and I, we want to please the other person.
Yeah.
Savior complex. It's okay if I'm hurt as long as
Right.
you're not, even though you're the one dishing out all the hurt. That's fine. I don't care as long as you're happy.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy, because that, if I'm hurt and you're happy, it means I'm the good person,
Correct.
right? It just means that I leave the relationship happy because I ended it amicably,
Yeah.
but I still carry all the luggage. I still carry all the baggage. It still hurts, right? In that sense, for me, it's painful because in my previous relationships, you make it sound like you're a good guy when you leave, or no, you don't make it sound like a good guy. You make yourself sound like a good guy when you stay, and you do everything in your power to make them happy and everything like that. And then, but they treat you badly. They treat you like you don't deserve what you're offering them. But at the same time, are you really the good person by damaging yourself in the process?
Yeah.
And kind of like allowing them to fester in their own thoughts and treating you that way, because you're basically validating their actions compared to your own.
Correct.
So in that sense, the fear of relationships hurt, right? Does this translate into a fear of loneliness as well, in terms of being afraid of losing that person and being by yourself?
Yeah. Yes. Like the answer is like yes. I don't even need to add. I mean, okay, I have always been in long-term relationships for like the bulk of my adult life.
Preach.
Yeah. And so it has been hard for me to not, because I am so used to having someone like there for me. It's a kind of like dependency or reliance on someone. And so for like whenever I would break up, right, that fear of loneliness, so just like I just need to like talk to someone. I just need someone there for me. I just like, so I'm always like chasing after something that can fill that like gap inside of me, which I realize that like I'm seeking in all the wrong places and I should be able to be okay and like fully comfortable with being by myself. And like my self-worth, like it's all tied back to self-worth. I think my self-worth is not defined by my partner. Like I am not someone's girlfriend. That's not who I am, you know? Yeah. And so I honestly would say I think this point of my life is I'm doing the best in terms of like learning that all these things don't define me. So I mean, sometimes, like, very honestly, I do fear being alone, but I'm learning that a boy or a partner can't fulfill me that way. And that I have like other things in my life. When I went back to Kuching, I realized how much my parents loved me. I realized how much my grandparents loved me. And because I was in such a desperate pursuit of like a partner, I forgot about all the people who really, really loved me. And so when I went back home, like it was really such a like a heartwarming moment, you know, like I am loved already. Like I have friends and family who already loved me, and I don't need to like seek for this kind of validation to fill me. Yeah.
Oh boy. Out of all that, I respect everything that you just said.
Yeah.
100%. But one thing that made me really go, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not just someone's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think that just epitomizes everything, right? I'm not just someone's girlfriend. I'm not just someone's friend. I'm not just someone's partner or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, no one's gonna love you if you don't accept and allow them to love you. And if you can't love yourself and just accept that this is me, this is how I am, it's going to be difficult to allow others to love you as well.
Yeah.
People can love you no matter what, but if you don't accept yourself, you won't realize that they love you.
Correct. That's key.
So
Yeah.
awareness, I feel.
Yes.
You just have to sit down with your emotions. Even if it sucks, you just gotta sit with it and you just gotta look at it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one thing that a lot of us don't really do enough. Is just look into ourselves and appreciate what we have.
Correct. Appreciation is key. I think we always we're always focused on how things don't work out the way we want. Like we're always being ungrateful. Like I just complain all the time, which is so terrible, right? We always focus on what we want to get better, or what what is not there yet, and we neglect things that we are doing so well, and that people that do already love us, and things that are going great in our lives. So it's about that like perspective shift, I think.
It really is, because we're always so hyper focused on, like you said, it all ties back. We're always so hyper focused on success.
Yeah.
That if you're not successful, what's the point?
Right.
Relationships are going to go all the way down, no matter what. Friendships, your work, and everything like that. So at the end of the day, it's about redefining your success, right? It's about understanding what is success to you. And if having somebody by your side means that's success, and having a loving relationship, by all means, please go and strive for it, right? So at the end of the day, I feel like, from what I gather from you, is that you've found out a way to deal with fear.
Yeah.
You found out a way to just correct it. And I feel like being aware is one of the main things that you have done. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, being aware and learning to shift my perspective. I'm such a big advocate of like perspective shifting and like also positive self-talk. Like when you talk to yourself positively, like I tell myself, I am worthy of love. Like I'm beautiful. Like my success is not defined by other people, by my accomplishments. And the more I say it to myself, then I start to believe it. And that just shifts my whole outlook on things. And it gives me a different kind of confidence, right? If your worth is inherent, like no one can take it away from me. No matter what I do, if I fail, if I mess up, if I'm a bad person, or, I'm still worthy. And so that is what I feel, like really keeps me going and helps me to see myself in a better light.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's what I do as well in terms of perspective shifting, because I talk to myself in the mirror every day. And people call me weird. It's fine.
That's great.
I talk to myself in the mirror every day. Right? I'm balding. It's fine. Whatever. It's okay. You still have a few follicles going on. It's okay. Like you have a fat nose. It's fine. I can breathe better. It's about perspective, right? And then I feel the one thing that has helped me the most in terms of perspective shifting is, instead of asking, what if, ask, what if I don't? What if I don't get to do it? And another way that I think about it is, in terms of being grateful, in terms of being grateful to the world and being given the privilege to fail, I don't say that I have to do something so that I take the pressure off of myself. I say I get to do something.
That's so good.
So it's like, I don't have to feed my dog. I get to feed my dog. And that just makes me feel like I want to tear up. I want to feed him every day.
Yeah.
So it's just 100% advocate for perspective shifting.
Yeah.
In that sense, thank you so much.
Yeah.
For letting us know what your secret is. Perspective shifting. And I know it can be hard.
Yeah.
It can be hard some days, but would you say being able to persist and constantly try, like it requires practice. Would you say it requires practice to shift your perspective?
Yeah, I think you have to be intentional from the start, right? Like, okay, I am not where I want to be and I want to be here. And so be intentional with how you talk to yourself. And so I catch myself every time I'm like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Or like, oh, I'm so dumb, right? I'm like, okay, wait, let me correct that. I'm not dumb. I'm great. Like I can do this, and it's not about lying to yourself. It's about like, even if it's hard, I work hard, so I'll be able to overcome this, instead of saying like, I can't do it, I'm so stupid. I think really being kind to yourself, letting yourself mess up, that really helped me.
Just gotta catch yourself in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm dumb. Maybe I am, but I'm not today. Not today.
No, don't even say maybe I am. You're not dumb.
Thank you. See, viewers, that's exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I'm always like telling my friends too, like, don't say that about yourself, because our words have power. And I believe this so firmly. Like, we can speak life and death. And so if, like, we're constantly killing ourselves if we always speak death to ourselves. And that's, like, we don't want to do that. Like, you should love on yourself more than like you love on others. Yeah, you would never say that to someone. So why do you say it to yourself?
That's the reason why a pen is mightier than a sword, right? And that you cannot take back the words that you say, even to yourself.
Correct.
Perspective shift.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of perspective shift, this allows us to shift into the next segment.
Yeah.
And the final segment of the show. Today, we're going to play But Honestly. The new card game that's going to come up into the market very soon. Very soon.
Yes.
Fingers
January.
crossed.
Yeah.
December. Hopefully December, you say.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, everybody. So, Shi Qi.
Yes. Okay, I have all the questions in my phone. I'm so sorry I couldn't bring a deck today. Because my prototype deck is at my printer. We're starting mass printing. But yeah. So basically how this game is played, there are 3 levels. And we have question, action, and wild cards. So we're just going to do question cards today because when it's 2 people, it's harder to use action cards. But action cards are great for like bigger groups.
It's good there are no action cards right now because like there's not a lot of room.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there are 3 levels. Did I already say that? 3 levels to the game. As it goes up the levels, it gets deeper and deeper. Yeah. So I think this will be fun.
As if this conversation hasn't been deep already.
I know.
It will go from light and we'll go back to heavy and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I guess we can do a few like level 1 and 2 and do a few more 3. I feel like that's the vibe right now.
Yeah, that's a vibe. It's a vibe. Don't worry.
Okay. So I'll just read out the questions and we can both answer them.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good. Since there are only 2 of us.
Yeah. Okay. What was your childhood ambition?
Okay, so I've been asked this question before, and I have thought about it. When I was younger, I never thought about a certain ambition. I never thought I wanted to be a pilot and a doctor. Well, these are legit Asian professions, but I never thought about being all that. Whenever someone asked me what I wanted to do, even when I was, 10, 16, doesn't matter, I always said, I just wanted to make people laugh. That's literally it.
Wow.
And I was so aware back then about it. It's just like, it's weird. It's weird. Now I'm like an adult and I'm classified as the clown in the friend group. And all the people that look at me and that I haven't met a lot of my secondary school friends. I only reconnected this year. And when I've hung out with them and everything like that and we've reconnected, all of them said the same thing. You're literally the same person back in school.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. So I was funny back then too. Nice. Perfect. So that's exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to make people happy.
Wow, that's so wholesome. Wow.
It's weird.
No, it's great. That's so cool. Okay. Yeah, that's an answer I've never heard before, which is great. Like it's not so much like a career, but like what you want to do.
Yeah.
And like how you want to make other people feel. Yeah.
Bang on. Yeah. Am I acing the test right now?
You are. 10 out of 10.
Success.
Amazing.
Okay, success.
I think this is kind of funny. My childhood ambition when I was like 6 or 7 was to be a princess. So I remember in kindergarten or like primary school, right? The teacher asked us to draw what we wanted to be, and then we would share it in class. And so my friends were like vet, or like policeman, or firefighter, or like doctor, and I was like princess. And I remember my teacher was like, "Yeah, you kind of like that's not like a career path." But as I grew older, I always changed. But I've always been very like artsy. So I wanted to be like an actor, a singer, like a painter, a YouTuber. I like marketing, stuff like that. So I've always gone towards like those kind of career paths. And I mean, now I'm a teacher, just like kind of random and like not really that. But I think I still, like with But Honestly, creating my own business, that's still like a very big part of who I am. Yeah.
I still think you're creative.
Yeah.
If no one's heard you sing before, boom. Out of this world. She can sing really well.
Thank you. Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh boy. Biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a few, and I think my partner will agree with me, and I think she'll be really mad that I'm gonna say this out loud. But it's okay. We're about honestly here. We're being but honest, right? But then, like, okay, for just in general, people, lip smacking, mouth sounds, eating, especially eating with your mouth open. I have to step out of the room.
Really?
It's that bad. I have to step out of the room because I can't take it. Because when I was younger, my dad eats with his mouth open. No offense, Dad, but like, it's just how it has to be right now. But he would sit to the right of me in the dining table, and his lip smacking would smack on my right ear every single time, to the point in this day, like right now, whenever I hear someone smacking their lips and stuff like that, my right ear gets tingles.
For real?
My right ear just feels like something's wrong. I need to leave, so I leave the room. The other pet peeve, and this one's because of my partner, is that whenever the AC's on and she moves to a different room, she'll always leave the door open.
Yeah, okay, I get that one.
I'm trying to conserve electricity here. I'm trying to be an environmentalist, but no. I'm sorry, but
she's gonna watch this.
Yeah, she's gonna watch. These are my 2 biggest pet peeves. She's my biggest fan as well, so it's like,
oh, that's so cute.
She's not gonna be after this, but it's okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. I think for me, I hate when someone's like passive aggressive. Like, cause I need the person I'm communicating with to be very direct with me. Of course, like not like hurtful, but I need like direct signs. Like, what are you saying? And to me, like instead of like, I'd rather you be aggressive than passive aggressive. Just tell me what it is. Yeah, I don't like to like have to guess what you're thinking or have to like figure out what is it that you want.
That is frustrating.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of telling me?
Yeah, like
why you gotta be so weird around me?
Yeah,
just tell
you know,
me.
like
Stop
they
being
just
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you hate me, just hate me.
Just like straight up. Like I appreciate that honesty. Yeah. So, yeah, passive aggressiveness not really my thing. Yep.
Like those backhanded compliments, right? Those are the worst.
I mean, I like backhanded compliments. Backhanded non-compliments. Those I don't like. You can compliment me anyway. Like you can be straight up your compliment or like.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. Okay. If you could only pick one, would you rather be with someone you're attracted to or someone who is a suitable match for you?
Someone who is attracted to
You're
me,
attracted to?
I'm attracted to, or
someone
someone
who is
suitable.
suitable?
Suitable match, 100%. I think attraction fades. Attraction fades. You can work on attraction, but if it's just you're attracted to, then it's hard for you to find more reasons to love them.
Yeah.
If someone's a perfect match for you, you can discover more things
Yeah.
about them over time. Attraction comes in the early stages, right? And that's something that you try to maintain. But if it's a good match, you can look for attraction over time. I feel like for me, that's the core difference.
Yeah.
And just a personal relationship experience.
Yeah.
That's all. I just feel like the moment I'm attracted to someone, I'll go out my way to go and look for them and do whatever I want for them and do everything I can for them. Only at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I'm attracted to them. If they're not attracted to me, it doesn't matter.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
At the end of the day, if you look for someone who's a match, it just means that you're already done. It's done. You don't have to
Correct.
agree.
Like the jigsaw puzzle just like fits. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So then after that, you can find things that you love about them. Even if they leave the door open with the AC on. It's okay. It's okay. I don't mind.
Like you still love her.
Yeah. You're a match because if you open the door, I'll close it for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Aw.
Like things like that. It's like,
Right.
It's hard to get mad at them when you feel like everything sticks.
Correct. That's so good. Wow. That's like a very good perspective. I've never played this specific question before. The same. I think love is a choice. And so attraction comes and goes. Like you can be attracted to so many different people and like they're not a good match for you, right? And it's just like that moment, that feeling in that moment. But yeah, love is a choice. And so if someone's a good match for you and you choose to love them, I think that is what like can sustain the relationship. And that's what is, I think what a relationship should be about, like supporting each other, like being able to understand each other and compromise and love on each other. So yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, should we do level 2?
Oh yeah, let's just jump into it. Let's go.
All right, level 2.
These are great questions. They're just level 1 and you already can
That's a
feel like
level
the
1.
air is full of positivity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, we were talking a bit about parents. So do your parents tell you they love you? If not, how do they show it?
Okay. I think my answer would deviate from the generic Asian household, but my parents say I love you a lot. Like a lot. It's overwhelming sometimes. Like every phone call, it has to end with I love you. If not, it feels weird.
Yeah.
So I'll have to say it back. I'm like, okay, I love you too. Or like now I initiate that. I tell them I love them first. So it's like, no, there's a balance now. But before, they were quite cold in a sense. My mom was the least cold out of the two because she is the one who had to spend the most time with all 4 kids. So she was open about her love, but she wouldn't say it because she's just too tired, right? Saying I love you is tiring. It's difficult sometimes. So she just showed it by just doing things for us and stuff like that. My dad was a bit different back in the day. He would come home from a long day of work, pick us up for a car ride, and we'll just drive around.
Oh.
That's his way of showing affection. He's just like, I want to go on a car ride with my family. So let's just go drive around for like half an hour to an hour just looking at nothing.
Wow. So he's a quality time person, you think?
I think he's a quality time person, but I feel like he's more of a words of affirmation person.
Oh.
But I feel like the way he grew up was different. The way he grew up was very generic.
Yeah.
His household was a little cold.
Yeah.
No one expressed emotions. So then that's why he took a long time to be able to say the words, I love you, or I'm proud of you, son. That one's a big one. The first time he said, I was proud of you was when I graduated university. So it's like, it took him, 21, 22 years to say, I'm proud of you, which was
You were like, how did you respond? Were you like, oh my God?
At that point in time, I didn't think, oh my God, he said, he said, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I was more thinking, whoa, he actually said it. Whoa, he's capable of doing that?
Oh my God.
That's so weird. He
Yeah.
says he's proud of me.
Yeah.
And then after a week or two, after like the graduation ceremonies and everything like that, then it settled in. I'm like, wow, he's proud of me. Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And then that's when he started being more open, more vocal about his emotions. Like, I love you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's weird. Because he would
Yeah.
pop his head out sometimes when I'm using the computer and be like, I love you. He's just doing it to spite me or something like that, like pick on me or something. But like, at least that's a good way to like pick on me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my parents' way of doing it.
Okay. Wow. All right. Growing up, my parents, I don't think they've said it. My parents are very like acts of service people, especially my mom. So they do like everything for me. Like when I went home over this like past month, they were like, you know, there's anything I wanted to eat, like whatever it is, they would cook it, they would buy it. Like I want to eat it now, the next day they'll go get it. You know, like is that kind of like they're very acts of service and how they show love. I think my parents are starting to say it more. Like after I went to uni, my mom would text it to me or like send like a heart emoji. To me, it was like very odd because they never said it before, you know. And like at first I was a bit angry because like why didn't you say it when I was younger, when I needed to hear it, or when I could have like very easily said it back to you. So it was hard. Yeah, but they do say it a bit more now. But yeah, slowly. I feel like as we grow, like we learn to understand each other and like what, you know, how to show love and accept love better, even like within my family.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a little stone cold at first, but like now it's heating up really quickly. So
Yeah. And like I think because I'm opening up more to my parents as well, so then they feel like they can be more open to me.
it's crazy how that works, right?
Yes.
Like the more you open first, then people will be like, okay, I'll be reciprocated.
Correct.
Like they'll reciprocate how you feel,
Correct.
which is a psychological thing, you know.
Yes.
It's called emotional mirroring.
Yeah.
Which I read, which is cool. So like big brain.
Look at you. I didn't even know that phrase.
Honestly, you asked me to describe it, I wouldn't be able to, but like I kind of get it, but like that's it.
Like you mirror what you see.
Yeah.
Correct.
Question though.
Yes.
Does I love you hit harder in Mandarin or in English?
Oh.
Because I only get it in one language.
Which is?
I love you, just in English. Yeah.
English to me.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because I don't know, when you say it in Chinese, it just feels kind of cute. And it just gives me that
That's
like very
true,
cute.
that's
Like, well,
true,
I
that's
need it
true.
just feels like cute. You know, but like I love you feels like
It's like, well, I need
intense.
just doesn't hit it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like in English just feels more to me. Yeah.
That's cool.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time you had your heart broken?
Jeez.
I don't know if you
Okay.
want to answer this on the podcast, but
No, it's fine. To
Yeah.
me, it's about open honesty, right?
Yeah.
To me, I had my heart broken to a million pieces in 2019. That was after a 4.5-year relationship. And the reason why my heart broke so badly, because I've been in two long-term relationships. One was 5 years, one was 4.5. So it's like I've similarly to you, it's like long-term, right? And I had a short crazy phase and that's it. And I thought, this is not for me.
yeah.
But the reason why that is because in that breakup, I placed so much value, so much self-worth and value on that person loving me the way that I want them to love me. So back then, it's like I didn't understand love languages. I didn't understand how to give them space, how to accept them for who they are, and why they don't want to like pat my head today, why they don't want to hug me today. You know, it's like different people express love differently.
Yeah.
And the way we express love was so different to the point that I wanted them to love me the way I wanted to be loved, which is fair, right? Fair to ask someone like love me the way my love language needs to be fed. But I couldn't force someone to do that if they don't want to. After those 4.5 years, I placed my worth on what they thought of me compared to what I'm good at or what I should, or how different ways that I value myself didn't exist. Only her opinion mattered. So then when we decided to break off, it was mutual. But after that, it wasn't mutual anymore. But it was mutual at first, but after that, it just broke me down because I lost who I was. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I didn't just lose a piece of myself. I lost my whole self because I gave everything to that person. That's when my heart was broken. Just 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. I think for me, it was when the person that I was seeing, I found out that he was talking to other girls. And that broke me. That broke me. I couldn't see him the same way, even though I wanted to. So I tried, because I really liked him. I tried to make it work, but I couldn't. I like when I see him, I just feel like anger and hurt and like disgust. Yeah. So that was really, really painful for me. And it made me question my self-worth, definitely, right? It's like, am I not enough? Like, why is it that you're like talking to other people? And I can spiral into a very bad place for a while. Yeah. And that's on dating people who are wrong for you. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, I learned from that experience. Yeah.
We'll hope he's happy with his 10 other women. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll just leave him alone. He can do whatever he wants. He can just hang out, but with them, it's okay. All 10 of them at the same time, it's fine. He's dealing with their emotional baggage. You just have your own, so it's fine.
Yeah, you're right. And like I dodged a bullet, so that's fine.
A million bullets. A lot of bullets.
I know.
That must have been so hard for you to like break out of that mindset whereby I don't want to please you anymore. I'm just gonna leave.
And it was hard to leave because I really like this person, you know. And I think a lot of like relationships that are toxic, right? A lot of times you're like, why don't they just leave? It's not that easy, you know. There's so much attachment already, and it's like you're so used to each other, so comfortable. Just suddenly like cutting it off is easier said than done.
I get that.
Yeah.
It's when you're dating for comfort compared to dating for love.
Ooh, that hurt. Yeah, dang.
It hurt because I felt it too.
Yeah.
I dated for comfort as well. Painful. It's painful.
Yeah. That's okay. We grow and learn, and I feel like those experiences have taught me many things. So, yeah.
Men are trash. Just kidding. Men are not trash.
You're gonna get canceled.
No, I'm gonna get canceled. Here we go.
Okay. Should we move on? We can do 2 more level 3 questions.
Yeah.
Level 3. When was the last time you broke down in front of another person? And what was the reason?
In front of my partner 3 weeks ago. Like full on panic attack. Couldn't do anything. Traumatized. Just like stuck. Like I just started crying and I couldn't stop for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think that was because I felt like my life wasn't going anywhere. I felt like, what if everything that I'm doing right now amounts to nothing? And that ties back to the fear of failure, right? Is success guaranteed if I do any of this? But like success isn't guaranteed for anything. All you have to do is increase the possibility of success.
Yeah.
Do all that you can to do that. So then I felt like I cried and I broke down because of that. And I just thought, there's no way that I can increase the possibility of success. Podcasting isn't going to help me. My full-time job isn't going to help me. My fitness isn't going to help me. And I just thought, basically it was a self-worth issue. And I'm still trying to fix that. But I feel like that self-worth issue, it stemmed from my previous relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to recover from that, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, like our previous experiences like really dictate how we view ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. Yeah, but I think you're killing it. Oh my gosh, like starting your own podcast and like being like bold enough to put it out there. I really admire it because it's something that I've always wanted to do. So I really appreciate you doing it. And I feel like what you're doing it's not just a regular podcast. It's something that, you know, you like that can impact people. And like people, whenever I listen to your podcast, I feel very encouraged. You know, I'm always like listening to it when I'm driving, and it makes me feel like, oh yeah, like it gives me perspective. So I really appreciate you doing this. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're killing it.
One checkbox ticked off. Anxiety down. Go down. Stay down, boy.
Okay. The last time I broke down in front of someone, I like hate crying in front of other people because I feel like embarrassed to do that. So I always like cry by myself. The last time I broke down, like really broke down, I think it was in front. I called my parents, and I was like having a very hard time in KL. And I was struggling financially because I moved here and I was like not used to the living expenses. Because previously I had a full-time job and I was able to fully sustain myself, and like that was totally fine. But when I came here, I wasn't able to. I wasn't used to being not able to. And so I really just like broke down, like told my parents, and I was like, my parents really want me to be independent, so they really don't like help me financially, which I appreciate because I learned a lot from that. But then I was like, why can't you just help me a bit more? And I was like crying, and I was like, all my life you've always been a provider, and that's how you should love. And like when you stop providing, I just felt like you didn't love me, because I mean, Asian parents, that's how they, how they show that they love you. So it was, I was like bawling. I was like, it was really bad. It was really bad. But I think the conversation was good. Like me and my parents got to understand each other better. And they were like, the reason, we're not trying to like cut you out, girl, we love you. And so I got to like, okay, you're right. Like I'm just overreacting. I'm just like in a bad place right now. So yeah, that was the last time I broke down. Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Money fixes everything. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Talk to your parents. Number one, talk to your parents.
Yeah. Communication is key.
I feel like so crazy because like you move to a new city. Obviously, there's so much to adapt. But like when you get thrown into the deep end, you don't have enough money. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to even ask for help.
Correct.
And that's the worst part. It's just like because it's that view of weakness.
Yes.
Like I can't sustain myself financially. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah. And it felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm at the age that I should. Like, what am I doing? Why am I struggling? I shouldn't be struggling. Yeah.
I think the real question is, who tells you that you shouldn't be struggling?
Oh.
Who dictates that?
You're right. Oh my God, I'm going to cry now. That's so good. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's okay to struggle.
It's okay to struggle. Struggling is part of life.
Correct.
If you're not going to struggle, then you're going to look for struggle.
That's a good reminder, though. Thanks. I needed to hear that.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. This is the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Such a good conversation.
But honestly.
Okay, let's do the final card.
Let's do it.
So this final card, so you start the sentence with like, I hope that ... Finish the sentence with a wish you have for yourself and everyone. So like a wish that you have for you and for me. And then we'll take turns to share. And that will just like close up the game.
Perfect. So
yeah.
A hope that I have for you, a hope that I have for myself and everyone. Is that it?
Yeah.
I hope that one day I will feel as if I'm enough.
Yeah.
I hope one day you will feel as if fear is the reason you're successful. And I hope one day, for the listeners, that everyone will be okay being emotional. Because being emotional allows you to understand who you really are. And if you can't be who you are, then who are you trying to be?
Wow, that was so good. I could feel it. I think like the listeners can like feel it too.
I didn't
like,
rehearse this, okay?
I
didn't rehearse this.
Yeah.
It's pure from inside. It's here.
Right.
Genuine.
Yeah.
Genuine. That's what I want for you.
Yeah. I hope that I will learn to be content with who I am. Fully, and not needing to seek validation from external sources. And I hope for you that you would be confident in where you're at in life, because I really think that you're doing great. And I mean, the most important thing is like for you to think that you're doing great. So I hope that you would not be so hard on yourself and know that this is a process and that you're striving for it, and that's so important. As long as you're striving, that you will reach there. I think we always compare ourselves to like the ideal version of ourselves. It takes time. So yeah, and I hope for the listeners that you will learn to put yourself first and your needs first, and learn to be kind to yourself, to like say nice things to yourself, not put yourself down. I think that's something that we always do, and that like hurts our self-perception and self-worth. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, that was I felt that one as well.
Yeah.
Goodness. Now I want to wish more stuff for you.
Oh no, it's not a competition. It's okay. But it was good. Like what you said to me, like really encouraged me. So thank you.
Don't be afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Failure is the reason you go up, because the further you go down, there's no more room to be down there.
Yeah. Honestly, I really needed to hear that, because that is one of my biggest fears. So it's good to see that, this fear is not something that I should be afraid of, but I should appreciate, because it helps me strive. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shi Qi,
Yeah.
for coming onto the podcast. As you can tell, the deeper we got into the conversation, the more open we got. And we only really started to become more open after we started the card game. I hope you realize that. I mean, that's how I felt at least.
Yeah.
So the card works. The cards work, guys. Make sure you get it. Don't worry whether you're going to be weird emotionally or anything like that. Being emotional is totally normal. And we're going to try to normalize that.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we're striving for. But honestly, and a life in bad.
Correct.
Thank you again for coming onto the podcast. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been amazing. And thank you for opening up.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I felt like more than like just this being a podcast, I felt like we had a really good conversation. So I feel so refreshed after this. Yeah, so thank you.
No, thank you. Please don't, it's okay. Thank you once again, Shi Qi. And over here at Life Ain't Bad, we have a motto that we like to sign off the podcast on. Would you be willing to say it for us?
I'll be honored. Life ain't bad, it's just complicated.
See you in the next one, guys. Thanks once more.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.